Excellent. My name is Linnell Wise, and I'm your worship associate today. It's wonderful to join you at UUCLB. We strive to be a welcoming and inclusive congregation rooted in love, trust, and freedom, and guided by our 8 Unitarian Universalist principles. Welcome to all of you who are newcomers and visitors. We are so glad you are worshiping with us this morning. If you are interested in more information about our faith, UUCLB, or potential membership, visit the welcome table, which is on the patio there, after the service. If you are joining on Zoom, hello people online. We have a new member service coming up on June 1st, and we'd love to include you. Welcome to children, youth, and families. Children and youth are invited to stay in the service with their grown-ups today. Our room 2 and 3, right in back of us, are open for playtime for infants and toddlers. And those of you adults who want to go to playtime with your kids. Please see our website, the monthly advance newsletter, and weekly announcements for more information about all of our programs and activities. Everyone is invited to join for coffee and conversation after the service out on the patio. If you are joining on Zoom, please stay for our virtual coffee hour, where you can chat with the others in the congregation. Now, let's take a moment to greet one another, and when you're done, okay, thank you, everyone. Wow, that's great, yes. Okay. Please see your order of service, online weekly announcements, and monthly advance for more information about all of our programs and activities. UCLB Native Justice Team invites you to stop by their table after coffee hour to learn more about the congregational resolution to support the Friends of Pavunga, and we are on their land right here, to protect the sacred site at Cal State Long Beach for cultural and spiritual purposes. And now Gail will give us an announcement.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Gail Kempf, and I am the co-chair of membership committee with Kate Taylor. Taylor, really, not Kaler. I would like to invite the whole church to a celebration of new members. We are going to be celebrating the members who had joined our church from July of 2024 to June of 2025 this year. So what we're doing, and this is on June 8th, so mark that in your calendar. We're going to do it after the RE service, and it's going to be outside, and we're hoping that a lot of people will join us for this celebration and meet your new members for the year. We're hoping to make this an annual event, so if it's a success, we did it last year, and we're trying to do it again this year. So we're hoping that it's going to be as successful as it was last year. If you would like to help, we are asking for people to bring salads and fruit and to clean up and set up. That's our biggest things that we have to do, is basically set up, clean up, and bringing salads and fruits. So I hope you help us celebrate the new members on the 8th of June, and you're all welcome. Everybody's welcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Edie Mickey Silvera. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees, and I'm announcing the annual meeting, which isn't as fun, I guess, as the June 8th meeting. It's on June 1st. It's after the service, and this is where we elect our Board of Trustees. We also have some other elections of clerk. There's also, we pass our annual budget. So this church is run by our members, and so it's us who voted up and down, and people have been working very hard on the budget. So please come if you want to understand that. We do need a quorum and to make that happen. So thanks. June 1st, we do feed you. Starts about 11:30, 11:45, as soon as we clear out and get the food set up and get us ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Edie and Gail. Peben was going to give an announcement about a cooking class for vegetarian foods, and unfortunately she's not able to come, but so I'm letting you know that that's coming up. Oh, thank you. May 28th. So that's in not too long a time. It should be. Is it here at church? Yes. Okay. We are thrilled that many members and friends from our congregation are marching in the Long Beach Pride Parade today. Yay. Yeah. And we send them support and encouragement for a peaceful and joyful parade. Long Beach kicks off Pride celebration across the nation, and we are grateful to hold space for inspiration and worship this morning from long-term LGBTQ activist and educated and Long Beach native Michael Eselun. Yay! And I haven't even gotten to his introduction yet. He returns for his 16th visit, and he thinks it might be even more. And he's coming in the summer too, so stay tuned for that. Popular guest speaker and UCLA oncology chaplain, Michael will reflect and explore the idea of a single thread that may run through our entire lives, what it takes to find it, what is our relationship to it, and how it just might help us make sense of the whole journey thus far. Michael serves as a chaplain for the Sims-Mann UCLA Center for Integrative Oncology. Two-time TEDx speaker, Michael speaks extensively to healthcare professionals, patient populations, and faith communities across the country. Please give Michael another warm welcome. Yay, Michael. I now invite you to take a deep breath, or maybe two, to center yourself in the worship space as we prepare our hearts and for our chalice lighting words.
William Blake reminds us that under every grief and pine runs a joy of silken twine. In a way, our faith community here is that silken twine, weaving each of our individual threads into a cloth that just might keep us warm enough to find our way. So we light the chalice this morning to symbolize that warmth and the guidance that can come from that sacred cloth.
Please rise as you're willing and able for our opening hymn, number 1020. The words will be on the screens as well. Whoa, yeah, yeah.
As a reading this morning, I'd like to offer this from Parker J. Palmer, and it's just called Everything Falls Away. Sooner or later, everything falls away. You, the work you've done, your successes, large and small, your failures too, those moments when you were light alongside the times you became one with the night. The friends, the people you loved, who loved you, those who might have wished you ill, none of this is forever. All of it is soon to go or going or long gone. Everything falls away except the thread you followed, unknowing, all along. The thread that strings together all you've been and done, the thread you didn't know you were tracking until toward the end. You see that the thread is what stays when everything else falls away. Follow that thread as far as you can, and you'll find that it does not end, but weaves into the unimaginable vastness of life. Your life never was the solo turn it seemed to be. It was always part of the great weave of nature and humanity. and immensity we come to know only as we follow our own small threads to the place where they merge with the boundless whole. Each of our threads runs its course, then joins in life together, this magnificent tapestry, this masterpiece in which we live forever. I invite us to close our eyes now, perhaps get comfortable in our seats. We move into a time of silent contemplation and reflection. As we move into that silence and that space, let the words of Wendell Berry wash over you and just seep inside. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work, and that when we no longer know which way to go, we've come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. So be it.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively to do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. We dedicate these gifts, freely given and gratefully received, to our shared work, shaping a better world for all and spreading its vision and its values far beyond these four walls. The information for giving can be found in the chat and on the screen. Thank you for your gifts. May the ushers please come forward.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere.
yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all.
Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds have looked at life that way. But now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. But something's lost and something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. I've looked at life from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Hey, Joni.
Good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for coming today. As an oncology chaplain, sometimes when I'm getting acquainted with a patient for the first time, I will often ask, tell me, what's a perfect day look like for you? Before you got sick, you're feeling pretty good, you got the day off, what would that day be? My intention is to find out in a quick and easy way what floats somebody's boat, where they get their juice in life, where do they find meaning. And it can often be a very revealing answer. Although sometimes I admit I do sit in judgment when someone fumbles for an answer. Oh, I don't know, watching TV, I guess. Carl, newly diagnosed with lung cancer, took no time at all to respond. Oh, watching my son play soccer and then taking him out for an ice cream. I love that. It reveals so much, doesn't it? A few years ago, I had a patient, Casey, who gave me a little holiday gift. It was a teeny spool of thread wrapped up in a poem written by William Stafford. The poem is called The Way It Is. There's a thread you follow. It runs among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread, but it's hard for others to see. While you hold it, you can't get lost. Tragedies happen. People get hurt or die. You suffer and grow old. Nothing you do can stop time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of the thread. Such a beautifully concise summation, isn't it? And what a lovely gift. Carl had no trouble at all identifying his thread. Would you? What would yours be? The older I get, the more my life story unfolds, I find myself wondering if it's really as simple as all that. Is it as unchanging as all that? I thought I had a good grip on the thread, but then divorce happened, or cancer, or bankruptcy, or Parkinson's disease, or the career that seemed to define me, it vanished. Do I have to find a new thread now? Or redefine the old one? Or am I simply to rest in my faith in the idea that the damn thread exists in the first place? If the thread does exist, and I like to believe that it does, it can be an arduous journey of distillation to drill down and identify it. A process that can take years, I find, if not decades. That kind of spiritual distillation, if you will, is a challenge that confronts so many on the cancer journey. If I can no longer be, do, or have what I once was, who would I even be then? Do I exist? If I'm no longer the super mom who never misses a soccer game or a birthday party, am I even still the mom? And yet, while I do have a good grip on the thread, it can be a sort of guy wire stabilizing me in stormy times. But I also wonder if it might be conceptualized not just as a thread to run through our life or beneath our life, but what about a thread to wrap around our life, to hold it together, to give it some coherence, to help us find a place for all the disparate pieces of our puzzle, a puzzle that might have to be arranged and rearranged time and again because life demands it. But it is still a challenging task to drill down and identify it. My sister Terry was a pioneer in women's surfing, competing at the national level in the 1960s and 70s. She even co-produced and co-directed the first professional women's surfing championship in 1975 in Malibu, the Hang 10 Invitational. She's 76 years old now. She still loves to surf, though it grieves her, as you might imagine, that she can't do all the things she once could, or certainly not as easily. She told me that not long ago she bumped into an old surfing chum from back in the day at the beach, and they were bemoaning this particular state of affairs. And he said, "Terry, you know what I came to realize? It was always just about getting wet." I love that. That's distillation. I thought it was about competition or big waves or winning. Really, it was just about getting wet. Distillation. As an old former professional dancer, I confront the very same challenges every Saturday in dance class, coming face to face with the limitations of a body that won't do what it once did. It's not easy. But a number of years ago, I came to a different relationship with those limitations. It has everything to do with essence. I have never seen a dance performance that knocked me in the gut with more power, more intensity than Donna McKechnie in the original Broadway production of A Chorus Line in New York City at the Shubert Theater. 1976. That was some kind of heady experience for this 21-year-old aspiring dancer from Los Angeles on his first trip to New York. Kind of transcendent, actually. Well, a number of years ago, Donna performed at an AIDS benefit here in Los Angeles. She was maybe in her 60s at the time. She'd put on quite a bit of weight. She wore this big flowing caftan-like dress. She offered a highly truncated version of her tour de force from A Chorus Line, The Music in the Mirror. Oh, there were echoes of the original choreography, remnants hitting a line here and there, the flick of a head, an arm gesture. I sat in my seat and just sobbed. Not out of sadness for what was lost or what was missing, but crying at the unmistakable beauty of essence, her essence, an essence that might have even been camouflaged once upon a time by her youth and agility. In some ways, it was a more potent, more impactful performance than had she been soaring across that stage at the Shubert Theater in that red dress in front of that bank of mirrors. Distillation. I'd been told that Keith had been a brilliant architect, but when I met him, long after his glioblastoma diagnosis, that brain tumor had robbed him of all that brilliance. He couldn't even compose one single coherent sentence. Still, he loved to see me every week, so we would meet for an hour. Hard to have a conversation. There was one sentence he did utter quite easily and often. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." As if his whole essence had been distilled down to a sense of apology for not being who he once was, for not being able to speak so well. I finally had to say, "Keith, one rule in here, no more I'm sorry, no apology." You don't have to think you're letting anybody else down, we can spend this hour any way you like. We can sit in silence, we can meditate, we can pray, we can just hold hands and look at each other and cry. But no more, I'm sorry. This has to be a place where you don't feel like you're letting one more person down. Certainly not me. I never got to know Keith in the context of his brilliance, and yet I kind of fell in love with the guy. With the sweetness of his smile, his tender heart, his gentle spirit. Distillation. Yes, it can be a journey to drill down and identify that thread, but to find a way for it to wrap around our story, to hold it together, is another matter altogether, particularly when we've been confronted with some kind of loss or catastrophe. Such losses often demand that we let go of so much. Most particularly our expectations of how we thought life should be, could be, wanted it to be, hoped it would be, thought it would be. Sometimes we even have to let go of hope altogether. At least hope that things will get better. In some circumstances, they won't get better. Guaranteed to get worse. Is it still possible to find a way to wrap that thread around our lives? Hold it together, give it some coherence, at least enough to take the next steps that life demands of us. A year ago, last October, I got to take the most wonderful 2-week solo journey to Turkey, and there I got a vivid reminder of something I've long known to be true. There's the thing, and there's our experience of the thing, and they're not the same thing. Ask anybody, and they will tell you one of the primo sights to see in all of Turkey is the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, and it is indeed magnificent. But on that particular Sunday morning, after waiting in an impossibly long line, going through security, navigating the hordes of people inside, my experience of the place did not begin to match the magnitude of the architecture. By contrast, I had a far more meaningful, potent, even tearful experience visiting a far more modest 13th century wooden mosque called Eşrefoglu in a teeny village called Beyşehir. The experience is distinct from the thing itself. For over 20 years, I served as a co-chair and founder of GLIDE, Gays and Lesbians Initiating Dialogue for Equality. We were an all-volunteer anti-homophobia speakers bureau. And in those 20 plus years, I trained dozens and dozens of speakers. Each speaker had to craft their own coming out story as part of the engagement. I would always encourage them to share your experience, not your story. Your story is just the facts. I came out to my mom when I was 16. Your experience, on the other hand, might sound like, for me, coming out to my mom was the big one because I stood the most to lose there. If my mom rejected me, I was in trouble. I was so scared. Following that through line of our experience of our life story might, in fact, lead us to our thread, however we choose to interpret it. And that's the thing. It's always up for reinterpretation. It's our own creative choice as our story unfolds to decide what that thread means. Esther had been a brilliant art historian, scholar, professor, curator. She was a luminous spirit. I met her for the first time on her first day of chemotherapy being treated for ovarian cancer. And after our visit, I was so captivated, I was ready to quit my job then and there just to go back to school so I could study German Expressionism under Esther. Her spirit was that infectious. Well, after decades of research and scholarship, she was offered the chance of a lifetime, a dream come true. She was invited to curate a major retrospective of the German Expressionist master painter Max Beckmann at a world-class museum, something she could only dream of. But the thing is, these things need to be planned years in advance. Could she make that commitment, given her diagnosis, given her treatment? She wrestled with questions, as you might imagine, but Michael, maybe I need to say yes. I need to make that affirmation. Maybe that's just what my spirit needs so that I can heal. What do you think? Sadly, her disease progressed and she needed to decline the invitation. As we wandered through the rubble of her loss and disappointment, we looked at what was the essence of what had really been lost. And had it been lost? Was the essence really about the recognition? Was it about this world-class museum? Was it even really about the art itself? Or was it about her passion, her capacity to inspire others, as she had countless students, myself included? One graduate student even changed her dissertation, her whole field work, her course of study after one class with Esther. That can't be lost. What if that capacity to inspire, to give breath to, that passion was her version of getting wet? What if that's the thread that could wrap around her whole story, hold it together, and give it meaning? As tragic as it was. A few years ago, I read an essay in The Atlantic in which the essayist drew a distinction between obituary virtues and eulogy virtues. Obituaries, when you think about it, often read like a resume, just the facts. He was born here, went to school there, married this person, had these 3 kids, worked here, won these awards, retired, loved to play golf, and then he died. Eulogies, on the other hand, often reveal a far more nuanced version, multidimensional version of who a person was. He was a guy who always made me laugh. He was the one who showed up without being asked to help me move or paint my living room. Through one lens, the obituary is kind of the resume, the story of our life. The eulogy is how we responded to the story. How did we translate those facts into a way of being into the world and engaging with the world? What do you suppose it would mean if we recalibrated our lives to focus on eulogy virtues rather than obituary virtues? Following that thread of eulogy virtues through our lives might, in fact, I think, lead us to a way to wrap around our story. Give it that coherence for which we long. You know how some people, myself included, God knows, will post photographs on social media, Facebook, what have you, of a beloved dog or cat asking for prayers and good thoughts while their beloved family friend faces some health crisis or another. Your heart kind of breaks for them. And then in a few days or a week, there are more photos as our friend posts their inconsolable grief over having to say goodbye to their furry family member. You kind of die a little bit for them. You remember when it was your turn at that rodeo, or you live in dread for what's coming down the pike for you and your furry friend. And then in a few weeks or month or two, there's another picture or 12 of the most adorable little kitten or puppy. Meet Oscar, everybody. Isn't he the cutest thing you've ever seen? I've never been so in love in my life. I sometimes wonder if the specificity of that kitten or puppy matters at all. What matters is that there's this deep love, this longing that needs to be given away, needs to be shared. And this is the little guy who showed up, so we're just going to love each other forever. That's that. I don't mean to denigrate the uniqueness of any of our furry family members. God knows. But this love, I think, is bigger than our love for our beloved old dog or cat or this sweet little kitten or puppy. It's bigger than all of us. That love might be the very thing that's at the end of our thread. That bigger love. The sweet, uncomplicated, uncompromising love I felt from my grandmother Anne certainly points me in the direction of my thread, if it isn't the thread itself. She's been dead for 35 years, and yet her voice is the one I hear in my head, I carry in my heart. She had a hard life, Grew up in a large, very poor Italian Catholic family, 10 siblings. She was beaten regularly by her father. After one such beating by my great-grandfather, in which he broke a shovel across her back, she had enough. That night, she ran away into the arms of the young man who would be my grandfather for no other reason than he was there. If that shovel hadn't broken, I might not be here. She was 15 years old. That marriage only lasted a few years, brought a few kids into the world. To my grandmother's credit, she never stopped looking for love, and she gave it away in abundance to her kids, to her grandkids, to her great-grandkids, to her friends, anybody that would ask. That's the bigger love. My mom and I used to reminisce, talking about Grandma, getting a chuckle over how she would respond when you shared with her a particular disappointment or loss. My grandma would listen so carefully, and then most she would say is, well, keep your chin up, dearie. Said with all the love and compassion she could muster. It wasn't nearly as flip as it might sound. It actually reflected a kind of hard-won wisdom that she would have been hard-pressed to articulate, but a wisdom that would say, I know there's nothing I can do or say to make this any better. I'm not going to insult you by pretending there is and saying it. I just want you to know I love you so much. I don't want you to hurt. I want you to be happy. So the best I got is keep your chin up, dearie. That speaks to the bigger love. Sometimes patients will ask me for a prayer, and I will often include this. May we keep our hearts and eyes open to recognize blessings that we don't know we're looking for. May that be so. I don't know, though. In the meantime, keep your chin up, dearie. So be it.
Please rise as you're willing and able for Blue Boat Home, one of our You Love songs, I think. 1064, sorry.
invite you to close your eyes one more time and take a few deep breaths. And if you feel so inclined, you could take the hand of the one next to you, or not, but wash your hands before you touch your face or mouth. Let's just breathe in the love, the intention, the commitment of this community to come together and to connect. As we exhale, can we release the light and the radiance of our coming together, not only back to each other, but to the larger circles of life. As we move forward from here in this moment back into our lives, may we keep our eyes open for the thread, realizing at times it may be slippery, easy to miss, but it's strong. May it guide us always to the place of bigger love. So be it.